Hello, guys, it's SC Fitness, and welcome back. So, today we're going to be discussing the topic about rep counting and goals in rep tracking. So, basically, we're first going to define rep counting. I think everyone here probably already knows what rep counting is. So, rep counting basically is counting the amount of reps in a set, and basically you just count and go to goal reps. So I'm going to talk and give you the whole story about what I think about rep counting. Is it good, bad? I'll give you the whole picture, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's first start off with the good. Unfortunately, there isn't much good in rep counting, as some parts can be positive. Like for rep counting, if you count your reps, you probably know if you're using too light of a weight, too heavy of a weight, or just a good weight. So basically, some people may think they're doing a lot more or less reps than they actually are, but I feel like once you do rep counting, you're kind of generalizing that one rep equals one rep. And so we'll get more into that in a few moments. But I feel like a positive is you can kind of assess like how a weight is for you. So if you're doing like, let's say 8 reps, that's a good target for hypertrophy. If you're going 12 reps, that's a pretty good target for hypertrophy, but anything above the 13, 14, 15, it's not as good. But once you get to 20, you're basically training only for endurance. But like, that's basically what it's good for, and it can tell you like 6 reps. I feel like 6 to 12 is great for hypertrophy. 6 is means the weight is a bit heavy, but it's like manageable. And then once you get more upward, weight gets lighter. I feel like 15 is where you should like, the weight is definitely too light for you, and you should definitely move on to the next weight. But that's my opinion, and let's move on. So rep counting can get you to estimate the amount of reps you're doing. So that's just pretty simple. It's just basically saying like rep counts can estimate like the amount of reps you're doing, and you can easily like find on a strength calculator the equivalent of a set to failure in rep counting. But now let's move on to the bad. So rep counting has plenty of shortcomings, and it's basically like not really the best method. So first, rep counting kind of takes out the intensity of the exercise. People just count reps, and they either count way too light. I see this 1,000 times, where people just say, I'll go for 10 reps when they can easily hit 15. See this 1,000 times. People just don't want to grind out the reps, and they feel like there's a nice benchmark they want to stop at. And that's something that just takes out the intensity of actually grinding out the rep and going to failure. So that's basically my point on how rep counting can kind of deplete the intensity. And if you go too many reps, like let's say you can only do 10 reps, but you go 12 reps, you could be using bad form with the other reps. So basically, you're starting to cheat on that, and then cheating on the rep becomes a habit. Or maybe you saw someone else cheat on the rep, and then you start cheating on the rep. But basically, I feel like once you go from that range where you either go too heavy or too light, it causes a lot of problems. And rep counting in general is not good. Instead, take your sets. First, you should train light. Then you should move on, train harder and harder. At some point, 2 to 3 reps will become to 1 rep before failure. And then before you know it, you should be training your sets to failure. You've no excuse unless you're injured, unless you're a beginner, to not train hard. And this is just a basic principle. I see plenty of people just are not putting in the effort. They're going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me just stop at 15. It seems like a good benchmark. It happens plenty of times. And we're here hopefully to stop that. Also, rep counting can make you get used to the reps, and it can make you get accustomed to the part that you have to hit exactly the number of reps which you should hit. So like let's say you want to hit 12 reps every time. Like you shouldn't be so hell bent on hitting 12 reps. You should instead go to failure instead of just hitting 12 reps. And I feel like that's really important in fitness, as some people just say to beginners especially, it's just like black and white, even though sometimes like going your goals can be different, or like you if you go approximately around the goal range rep range of what you should be, you're fine. You don't need to focus on those little details, except you should just train hard. And like rep ranges vary. Some days people can be mad because they don't hit it, but some days you have an off day. Some days you can have a really good day. It all depends on how you're feeling and what you're doing. And that's another important point. So now we're going to go on to the next point. Rep counting assumes that one rep is equal to one rep, no matter what. So this might be a little confusing to some people, but let me get through this topic. So basically, theoretically, it might sound like one rep of the barbell bench press is equal to one rep of the barbell bench press. Simple. That's simple. But like one rep of the barbell bench press perfect form going 5 seconds down, or like even slower on the eccentric overload, which is that's much harder than just going like 1, 2, 3. Imagine that was like my shoulders going up for a bench press. Or like it's like even cheating the rep. You can't say that one rep cheating or not doing as well is one rep as doing as well. It makes the reps all equal. Make reps count. I don't care how many reps you can do with what weight. Make the reps count. Go to failure. Once you go to failure, you'll feel a satisfaction. And it's a really great satisfaction. But again, it's about how badly you want something. If you want to gain muscle, you have to go near failure, at best, or failure. I would say some days, like, it's okay if you don't do as well, but as long as you're putting in the work, and like, let's say you have a bad day, like, who cares? All you need to do is just try your hardest, and you have a bad day, but you're working your butt off that day, you're training really hard, trying to make the best out of the session, you'll end up getting better results. And next, so kind of rep counting is just a irreversible kind of, it's just so common around gyms that like it's hard to see like and try to reverse what's happening. That's the main problem. Like there's so many people, I would say, I don't know if I'm being conservative or being way too harsh, but I see 75 people at least at my gym who are basically like saying, oh, I'll stop at 10 when they can do 15. People need to learn how to grind out that rep and really get those last few reps and feel like you're going to failure. It's okay not to be able to do it, but if you try your hardest, that's the best. But again, this doesn't apply to beginners, as always. beginners should take it slowly and build up. This applies to more intermediates and guys who are looking to get into advanced lifting. But I feel like that's it for me. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Please like, subscribe, and take care. Bye bye.